All right, welcome back. Well, Mr. Macri, just looking through this, about this particular document, um, what should the public expect from the police? Should they just dismiss this and say, well, look, it's one of those fake documents, QED, that's it?
No, I think they should investigate it properly. It's an image problem for the police, and they should investigate it, and then, of course, put in place some document security countermeasures, because for their documents which they consider secret. In fact, I'm surprised that it is not even classified, because it must have come out from a radio room, and they have to, look at that process of securing their documents. And when they find out after the investigation, whichever way, they should be able to inform the public.
All right, but let's move on now. This particular scenario, which is playing itself out in Zamfara, where reports saying that, look, the government is either considering, should there be a military option, how should they proceed, and then reports about having, there being a riot after some of those attacks in Zamfara state. This certainly raises a lot of concern, but the approach that the government has taken now, do we say that this is a glitch? Is it yielding results? What should we be doing?
I think we have a very serious problem in Zamfara, and I think it's basically a case of lack of governance, because the governor there, I don't think is very on top of his game. Many people don't know. What we see is fighting, killing, and all the rest. But the undermining issue there is the illegal mining of minerals. And I can tell you, the kind of money that is coming out of the illegal mining is more than what oil is giving us today. And
but it's not going to the government.
It's not going into, it's going into pockets, personal pockets, it's going into cartels. There are cartels there. And most of the fighting you see there are fights between different cartels. And the governor himself is not helping issues because most of the time he's not in the state. He's in Abuja as chairman of Northern Governors Forum and stuff like that. He's not there. Even security agencies have sent him intelligence reports that he does not even read them because he does not have the time to do that. So this illegal mining thing that is going on is escalating. A lot of people are involved. Foreigners, Chinese, because it's a big market. And the money comes, gold, diamonds, tantalites, just leaving the country with unnoticed.
So is there a sense, if you look at that scenario again and say, as some people have advocated, that you declare a state of emergency in Zamfara State? Will that be a good option?
Well, they can decide to do that because as long as the governor himself has absconded his responsibilities, if there is a state of emergency where a military sole administrator will be appointed, I think they could bring things into control. Because I'm telling you, this situation is really, really very bad. I have personal experiences where minerals are being carted out of this country without any control. And they said it's under the exclusive preserve of government. That is, federal government is supposed to be in charge of this. But the state governor, who is right there, should also try to take responsibility. This one Nigeria.
What do you mean you have personal experiences?
I have personal experiences where I've actually seen, I'm a consultant. I'm a security consultant. And of course, some people have come to consult me about how they can safely go in and get their ore, different kinds of extractive ore, zinc, or other kinds of solid minerals, and how they could safely take them out.
How do they regard the police?
The police does not even have a hand in it, because the cartels are the ones.
Yeah, is it eluding the police?
Well, I don't know if the police have seen it as one of their responsibilities to stop this, because this thing is going on, and the police, well, they have the normal checkpoints on the road, and they just pass through, because I know that some of these things would pass through, and no checks on, where you're going, how did you get it, where are you taking it to. Remember, there were some guys that were caught at Abuja airport with diamonds and gold, which they were trying. All these are from Zamfara State.
Mr. Moshood, what is the police doing about this particular case?
Thank you so much. We are quite aware that the issue of banditry, issue of civil strife, and other issue of crisis might be linked to resource, or probably the issue of a gangster, or probably people trying to claim authority over each other, the criminal gangs. And we factored this into our approach in dealing with the situation in Zamfara. If you look back, you know that about 2 weeks ago, our men engaged these bandits, and 104 of these bandits were killed by the police personnel, the police special forces, and other, the mobile police forces and other forces that were sent, which come under the joint police operation force. And of significant note, and on unfortunate side, is that we lost 22 personnel of the force in this process. We are fighting all the situation in Zamfara head-on, including the direct and the remote control of all these crises. But the bottom line still remains the fact that the people have the role to continue to render effective collaboration to the Nigerian police force in ensuring that we stamp out all form of banditry and militancy in Zamfara State. We have made significant progress, and we have reached all the nook and cranny. But the coordination between us and equally the Air Force, who own the aircraft for bombardment and for other operational backup from the air, we are coordinating properly with them, and we are very hopeful that we are getting gradually to the end of banditry in Zamfara State. It is quite important for people to equally know, who have the potential to listen to us, that the collapse of the local government administration in virtually all these states or throughout the country is a significant contributor to the insecurity that we are witnessing in the affected state, because where you have the local government administration in place, the intelligence lies with the people, and we get prompt and appropriate intelligence on good time. Because for the past 5 years or more than, I've not been able to have anybody that introduced himself to me as a councillor. So if this is returned, the local government administration are close to the people, and all the early warning signals, early warning signs will quickly be acted upon, because the people will get the information across to those who are ruling, and they get it across to us. But the issue of the state completely dominating and taking over the control of this local government is not working, and it doesn't equally help security. So we know that the appropriate government authorities are equally listening, and they are doing something about it. There are these two airports, because most of the problems we are witnessing are in the rural areas. And these rural areas, some of them are large forests that have been ungoverned for quite a number of time. So with this, we are very hopeful that we will be able to get to the end of it all. We are making arrests, and I want to make it equally known that those bandits that kidnapped the two twins that were about to marry, all of them have been rounded up to about 12 of them in number. We are going to parade them very soon. So we are making a lot of significant progress. And equally, the last protest and demonstration that were witnessed, the Commissioner of Police in Zamfara State was on the air, and he has addressed the public to let them know that that demonstration were not carried out by the IDPs. They were carried out by bandits, and some of them have been arrested and currently undergoing investigation. For every incident of disturbance or probably of conflict or crisis or killings, we have always made arrests, and we have been prosecuting people. A total number of 861 are under trial now across 11 states in the north for various killings and other activities that led to loss of lives and property. We have conviction for 68, and we're very hopeful that a large number of these 861 will be convicted. But the most important thing is that all Nigerians must put their hands on deck. We must be law-abiding, so that we reduce incidents of people going in to commit crime of this nature. We are working around the clock to coordinate.
Why does the Zamfara case seem intractable in spite of all the efforts that you highlighted that the police is undertaking, such that they're considering military options?
Thank you so much. When you look at considering military option, military is to come in the aid of civil authority, and we have no problem with that, because the problem itself is not intractable. The problem I've been there with, and we are making successes, but there's a need for us to be able to hold on the achievement that the success we have achieved in ensuring that these bandits are completely removed. So the military coming does not make that the problem is intractable. In fact, the policing, because when you win the war, you have to win the peace. For every area that have been cleared in the Northeast, the police present are there to ensure security of those who are displaced and to restore law and order. Where you can't restore law and order, then it will be difficult for any might whatsoever, whether from the military or from any other quarters, to be able to sustain peace anywhere in the country. It is policing that is at the grassroots. It is policing that take care of the day-to-day activities of people, whether commerce, whether transaction whatsoever, or whether movement or transit or whatsoever. It's a police duty to ensure safety of Nigerians across the country, whether in their homes or in their offices or in their place of their engagement. So it's quite important that we continue to support the police force. And like I keep on repeating.
I hear you. Let me ask Mr. Macri this. I mean, there were comments. Of course, sometimes they bring in politics into all of this. So if there's going to be a military option to this one, how is that likely going to go down well here? Because look, we're approaching an election year. We know that Zamfara facing off with INEC, whether or not they have a candidate. So there are those who are interpreting it in different ways. But shouldn't security override any political considerations?
Security should override all political consideration.
What if they play politics with security?
Yes, definitely, because that's the game of politicians. You know, they love it, and they will play politics with it. They play politics with everything, religion, ethnicity, you know, things like this. So the important thing here is that if we go to the root causes of all this, is that the police itself is thinly spread. You know, you are deploying more than, like Moshood said, we have more than 11,000 policemen deployed into the northeast, and Zamfara is rearing up his own head and all the rest. So you find out that now they have to deploy people to Zamfara too, and there are other issues coming up internal security-wise across the states. So you find out that the police is thinly spread, and that's why they should give more, you know, consideration to state policing, neighborhood watches, because these agencies should be able to help in the community policing infrastructure, you know. And when you don't allow that, and then you start, because what we're doing now, we're doing fire brigade. You know, it happens in Zamfara right now. We deploy 2,000 in there, and then something burst out in the south, and then you have to deploy another set of people down there again. It does not work very well, you know. Let's have a stable structure that is workable. We cannot continue hanging on the colonial structure that has been given to us over the years. Nigeria is 50-something years old after independence. We should be able to get new things.
That will always be a big debate moving forward as to what did they do with the structure of the police. Well, that's how far we can go. We thank you very much indeed for coming on. Mr. Dennis Omakwe, former Assistant Director with the SSS, and Mr. Juma Moshood is the Force Public Relations Officer. Thank you also for coming on today. We're back in a moment. Stay with us.